Hi all, welcome back to my channel. So today in my session, we are going to understand what is lookup transformation in the data flow, in the mapping data flow in Azure Data Factory. So we will discuss that. So if we go through the Microsoft documentation which has been given by the Microsoft in the lookup transformation, if you can see, it's a very good article over here, lookup transformation. So you can focus on this line. Lookup transformation is nothing but similar to the left outer join. Okay, so all rows from the primary stream will exist in the output stream with additional column from the lookup stream. So what does that mean? It means like as we have covered the join transformation, right? So we have a multiple kind of a join. We have a inner join, outer join, left outer join. In the outer join we have two types of a join: left outer join and right outer join. Okay, so lookup transformation is nothing but it's works similarly as a left outer join. Okay, so left outer join. So left outer join means all the matching records, all uh, records is coming from see here, all the rows from the primary stream will exist in the output. That means in the left side. So in the left outer join, all the join when we talk about, we always talk in the context of two tables: left table, okay, and right table. Okay, or here we can say left stream or left table or right table or right stream, that same thing. So what will happen in the case of the left outer join, all the data which is there in the left table, that will come in the output irrespective of the condition what you have given, and only the match record will come from the right table. Okay, so that is the left outer join. That means outer, we are joining all the data from the left side, and only the match record from the right outer join, right table. Okay, so that is the definition of left outer join. Similarly, lookup transformation will work. So lookup transformation means that we are looking up the data from my primary table to the second table, and if the conditions matches, then all the records will come, and if condition is not matches in the left table, there also then from the left table the data is coming, but not from the right table. Okay, so let me show you the requirement what we are going to do. So in my storage account, if you see, I have two files in the storage account in container. In the input folder, I have two files, okay, department files and the employee data file. If I open this employee data file, you can see what is the content inside it. So if you click on over here, so we can see we have ID, employee name, and department ID. So these are the employee which belongs to these different department ID. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are the four department ID. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the employees belongs to each of the department ID. So, but here you cannot see that department ID 1 represent which department name. So that value, okay, that value is present in the department master file. That is, we can call it as a master file. Okay, department.csv. So if you can open it and see the content. So one represent, here you can see this is the master file of the department where we have a details of the department. Okay, so one represents HR, two represents IT, and three represents finance. If you notice that there is no department with a department ID 4. Okay, but in case of, we have a record in the employee data which belongs to department ID 4. That means all the in the left stream, we will consider the employee data as a left stream, and we will check all the employees which belongs to the department which is available in the department .csv, that is considered as a right stream or a right table. Okay, so what we can do, so these two files we have to apply the lookup transformation between these two files. Okay, so go to the Azure Data Factory, and here if you can see, let me click on a new data flow. Let's create a new data flow, and here let me give a name as data flow lookup. Oh, sorry, here I'm typing here. I need to type it here. Data flow lookup. So this data flow we are going to create for the lookup transformation to learn lookup transformation. Okay. So click on source. So we have to provide the very first source, and the first source is nothing but a employee data. Let's suppose. Okay. We have to create a data set, and my data set, my file present in the Azure blob storage file is in delimited format. So employee data, and here is the link service, and we have to 0.2/5 employee data.csv. So click on OK. Data set has been set up. And this is all file. This is on fine here. Everything is, let's keep, we have to go to optimize and put it in single partition. Okay, if you want to change the projection, you can change it, because you can see department ID is integer. We can change it as integer as this as well. We can change it as an integer. Employee name we can keep it as a string. Okay, everything is fine. If you wanted to see the preview of the data, so you have to turn the debug on. So until and unless your debug or your cluster is not on, you will not be able to preview your data. So I need to make this thing, this debug option will have to be open. So I have just click on to keep it open. So once it will be open, see if your cluster is ready now. The cluster is ready with this session ID. So once this cluster is ready, debug option is on. So you can see there are a lot of options here. So we have to refresh here to see what the file data we have inside the employee data table in this file. Okay, employee data file. So let me just give us a couple of seconds and the data will be reflected over here. So here if you can see all the records is populated from the employee data. Okay, this is the data preview section. Now we have configured one source. Now we have to configure the second source, that is nothing but our lookup table, that is nothing but a department file. Okay, so you have to give the name src depart. Okay, here you have to create a new data set. The file is delimited. And here's depart. Let me give this name to the dataset. Linked services, because the file is in the blob storage, that is fine. First row as a header, we have to give the name of the provide the path of this department file. So I have provided. See, now dataset has been configured for this department as well. If you wanted to see, you can see over here, and here everything is fine. You have to, for optimization, you have to use a single partition. And here if you can see projection, you can go and you can change your department as an integer, because in here also we have changed it to as an integer. So that's why we have to change it over here. Now you can click on data preview and click on refresh button to get the data. See here. Okay, so here you can see the HR ID finance 3 department is coming over here. So everything is set up now. We have configured the two sources in our data mapping data flow. Here what we need to do is we have to now use a lookup transformation. Okay, so what we need to do, we have to click on the plus sign over here, and in the multiple input output we have an option lookup. Okay, so click on this lookup option, and as soon as the lookup option is highlighted here, all the options related to all the settings is coming over this side in this pane. So what you need to do, you have to drag a little bit up so that you can view it. And here you can see employee, we have to look employee by department. Okay, so primary string, that means primary string nothing but a left table. Okay, you can consider your employee data as a left table. So that means irrespective of the conditions matches or not, all the data is coming from the employee data. Okay, now left stream, lookup stream is the this one. Okay, src department, source department. Okay, now here if you can see, we have a two options, match multiple rows, match on, and lookup condition. So first we'll complete this lookup condition. We need to use the, let me drag a little bit up so that we can see all the options here. So we have ID, employee name, and department ID. So I wanted to, look up on the basis of department ID. So whatever the department ID of the employee, if that department ID is available in my lookup, then please return the data. So like that, we have to provide the lookup condition. Now coming to these two options, what this option mean is, if you mouse over and return all the matched record from the lookup string. Okay, so if you have a match multiple rows, that means if you have a multiple lookup rows, okay, in your lookup table, here we have a lookup table, we have a department is our lookup table, not an employee data. Okay, department is our lookup table. So if we have a multiple records in lookup, then it is going to match all the match record in from the lookup table. So if I click on this, you can see match on condition will be invisible. invisible. Okay, so that means either you can do this, or you can make it uncheck, and there is a match on any options. Okay, match on means like you have to match, you wanted to match on any row, or first row or last row. If you wanted to match on the first row, okay, or last row, so that means like you have to make your records in sorted order, then only it will match on match I will after that, once the data will be sorted, then only your lookup condition will be applied on. Okay, so if you use first row, then you have to provide which what do you call, you have to your lookup table, in the lookup table you have to make your data in short format. Okay, whether you have to wanted your record in the lookup table as a ascending order or descending order, on which column. Like suppose I wanted to my department id is an ascending order, and after that, once I'll make this ascending order in this table, and after that I wanted to perform the lookup, so in that case this is required. Okay, if you use it as a last row, then you have to provide this descending order or ascending order, like that. Okay, for best practices it is always recommended to you have data sorted already, and after that you will use the any row. So recommended part is you have to use the any row. Okay, there you do not need to do the sorting thing, you have to directly go and perform the lookup operation on your data. So here it is fine. If you go optimize, we need a single partition, as do not have a too much record. Inspect, you can inspect your record. So see, this many records, id, employee name, department, this is the column, these are the data types, and it is giving that these three table, these three columns, id, employee name, and department id is fed by this file, employee data file, and these two columns, department name and department id, is fed by the second table or second stream. Okay, which we have given a name src depart. Okay, now you wanted to see the preview, so click on the refresh to see after doing the lookup transformation what will happen, how it will behave, and what will be the output. So just give a moment, then it will be, yeah. So here if you can see everything, all the data is mentioned here. So id, employee name, department id is coming from employee, and department id, department is coming from the department. Okay, if you wanted to see here at the last stage, right, this last row, Kirti row, which id is having 107, which belongs to, this employee belongs to department id 4. Okay, but this department id is not present in your lookup table, is not present in your master table. Okay, that's why it is coming as a null. So I left outer join, how left outer join behave, like all the records from the left table will come irrespective of the condition matches or not, but only the match record from the right table will come. Okay, so this is our right table, and these three columns belongs to left table. So see, this last record is not matching our lookup condition, but still from the left side this record came in the output, but in the right side, because the data is not there, so null record is now displaying over here. Okay, so this is what is fine. Now if you wanted to what you can do here, if you wanted to put it in some destination, you can do it. You can add one sync location, and there you can pull dump your records, okay, after lookup to your destination. So let's see, this is sync, and I wanted to put it in output folder. Okay, so output folder is in my Azure Blob Storage location, delimited file. Here I will give as a name as dataset sync for lookup, let's say, and this is link service. First row as a header. I need to give the directory. So let me give the output folder, output as a container. Here I wanted to create a file for it. Okay, whatever the output is coming, it should come here. If you wanted to give the file name default, you can give it. File name option is there. Okay, and if you wanted, if any error came, you can create a new link service and output to the some different location erroneous records. Okay, optimize, for optimize, as I told, we will use a single partition. Inspect, here you can see everything is fine. Now go to the data preview to see how my data look like after it got it will do after the lookup, and when it go into your destination. So this will be this kind of data it will look like in my destination file, so which is fine. So what we need to do, we have to validate and no configuration issue is there, so we can publish all. So once we'll publish all, see, 3 datasets we have created, 2 datasets, for one for employee data, one for department, and one for lookup. Okay, and here one for sync for sync for destination, and one data flow we have created. So let me publish it. So this is not df lookup. So but we cannot run it, as I told in my previous sessions as well. We have to call it inside our pipeline. So what we need to do, create one pipeline, and we'll give a name of this pipeline as a peer lookup. Okay, because we are learning the lookup transformation. So here what we need to do, either you can drag this and configure your file, or whatever the data flow which you have created till now, just now, df lookup, just drag it over here in your canvas and you are done there. Okay, that is fine, and you can validate your pipeline. Everything is fine. There is no parameter which we are passing on from my pipeline to the data flow. Okay, everything is blank here. We are keeping it as a simple. That's fine. Now we will click on debug. So the moment I will click on debug, it will make sure that my data flow will also run in the background, and it will run my pipeline. So just wait for a second, and we will see if any file will be generated in the output folder or not. So just refresh this button, and meanwhile go to your source account, storage account here, and click on the output folder. Okay, see, the file is been generated. Let's go to your Azure Data Factory. It got succeeded as well, if you see. So go to the output and click on your file, click on add it. See here, we have ID, name, department name, and department ID and department name as well. So if you can see, all the records is now coming as, and here if you see, for the last record, okay, Kirti record, department ID is 4, but there is no department name, so it is null. Okay, it is coming as a null. Click on the preview and you can see here it's a blank over here. So this way you can create a lookup, you can use the lookup condition. So basically, in real-time scenario where you can use the lookup transformation, mostly whenever you wanted to create a pipeline and you wanted to do some copy activity, right? And before copy activity, you wanted to see whether the file or the table which I'm trying to copy to the destination is empty or is it's having some data. Okay, so that check you can use with the help of the lookup. Okay, so suppose you have a requirement where you have to copy the content of your table which is residing in your Azure SQL Server database, and paste it into your in your file, one of the files. So before uh, actual performing the copy activity, we need to check whether the table is having some content or not. Do we have any record inside the table or not? So that we can use it. In that scenario, we can use as a data flow. Sorry, this lookup transformation. Okay, so here, because in lookup transformation, if you see, I have chosen the Azure data storage dataset. That's why I'm getting this option. But if your dataset is connecting to your your SQL database, then you will get another options. Okay, you will get here store procedure, you will get here queries. That queries you can write it. So there are many ways by which you can use your lookup transformation, and to satisfy your conditions to complete your requirement in the project. So that way you can use it. Okay, I hope you understood the requirement. I hope you understand the concept of the lookup transformation in mapping data flow in Azure Data Factory. Okay, in case if you have any doubt, please reach out to me. Please send me your comments in the comment box. Till the time, happy learning. Have a nice day, guys.